Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the logs and welcome back to Voice Logs. We're hitting up episode 9 now. Episode 9 of Voice Logs. So it's been a little bit. It's been about a month of Voice Logs, so I hope you're enjoying the new content. I hope you're having fun because I'm having a lot of fun making it. And yeah, let's just hop into the episode. I think on this one, I just want to really talk about the idea of globalization of ideas. And we'll flip-flop with these topics and see where this episode is going to go, because what I want to start off with is just the idea of the logs going international. I want to tell you guys, which it's also an appreciation thing, that the logs is very much an international podcast, which is awesome. It's so cool to see when I look at my hosting service, my app, and I see all these people downloading from all across the world. So we have a bunch of people downloading in the US. We have people in Canada and Mexico, all over North America. We have people this month. So many people, so many new people from Egypt were downloading episodes. People in Kazakhstan, Greece, Italy, and France, all over Europe, and Australia. I just want to shout you all out. If you're listening now, please comment. Please send something through the social media and say where you are, where you're listening from. It's so cool to see all these people listening to my podcast, to our podcast, to this global thing that is the logs now. It's so cool. It's so cool, and I'm just so thankful that you guys see it. You could see it and you could listen. I always say see, but you're listening and you're caring about the things I'm saying. So thank you. Thank you so much. And I hope to continue making this an awesome podcast for everyone to listen to and get something from, because that's the idea here. We want to raise new ideas, fun ideas that'll make change, and everything in between. So that was always the idea of the logs going into the logs, and it's always going to be the idea of the logs throughout the lifetime of the logs. So thank you guys. Thank you so much. And I hope you're all doing great wherever and whenever you're listening. I hope you're doing awesome. And there's just a little plug now for those social media profiles. Just you always feel free to go hit down in the description of the episode and comment on those social media platforms. Send us some messages. Send us a picture of you listening to the logs. We'll post it on the Instagram page or the Facebook page. Thank you again. It's so cool that you're listening. Wherever you're listening, whenever you're listening, you're awesome. And you're great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for supporting the logs. Now, kind of piggybacking off that idea of international ideas or international change and things like that, the idea of globalization, of cool ideas and ideas that are meant for change. Today there was, now when you're listening to this, it's probably going to be a week from today. Today specifically, on September the 20th, Friday, September the 20th, there were a lot of students from all around the world and a lot of people in general that walked out and protested for climate change. And this occurred all over the world, and it's an awesome thing that was pushed by this young girl from Sweden, I think she was. Now, let me just look this up so I don't get any information wrong, but let's look up global warming strike. I just want to get a huge shout out for this girl that kind of started this push for... Oh, okay. The name is Greta, I think, Thunberg. And so, hold on, I think she's from Sweden. But let me just make sure. Let me check here. I just want to make sure. I just want to give her a good shout out because what she organized is insane. It's so cool. What her idea was to get students to lead change and to push adults, push people in power to change, to make a change for the world. Because the idea, her idea, which is the idea that we should all have, is that this is one world and we got to keep it safe. We got to keep it healthy for the next generation, for us and for everyone. Yeah, so she is Swedish. She goes to school in Sweden. She's Swedish. Greta Thunberg. So if you're listening, Greta, in Sweden, I'm shouting you out. Keep on being awesome. Keep on doing you and keep on changing the world. And yeah, so that's the idea here. And this is so cool because millions, in over 4 million, about 4 million people from 163 countries all around the world, they were out on the streets and pushing for people to make a change. And it's so cool that using the things that we have now, things like social media, we can make such an awesome change. Like in New York, I think the biggest city in the U.S. There were over 250,000 students, people that just walked out of class and pushed for change in the world. And we can make change when so many people, that's the big idea here. So many people are pushing for change. What I've always believed and what I always just kind of adhere to is that you can't wait for the people, quote unquote, at the top, air quotes here, to make changes. Because what can one person do, first of all? And second of all, what are they allowed to do? Right? Just take that first point. What can one person do at the top? How can one person, sign something and have it, just be instantly adhered to by thousands or millions of people? Right? You can't sign something into law and just have it be, sure, you can punish people from doing whatever thing you sign into law if they break that thing, whatever it is, whatever that thing is, yeah. You can do that, but can you change the minds of people by signing something into law? It takes a while. It takes a while for that to happen. And then the other idea is, do they want to do that? Because they're also very adherent to the people that put them in that place of quote unquote power. See, I think the real power is within the people. It's always been, because the people are the people. There are many, many people that through their own actions change the course of the world. It's these people that can make a change in the world, because there simply are more of them than the people at quote unquote the top. See, I keep saying these quote unquote at the top. What do I mean? Because technically they are at the top. There are the politicians. They are the people signing things into law, making laws to govern the masses. And generally, they put them at the top. That's why the president's family is called the first family, or the first lady, or the president. Why the president is called the commander-in-chief, because he's at the top of whatever, say the military, and the family's at the top of whatever sort of thing, the mass, the people, the top of American society. I guess you can say. But here's the thing. If there is no foundation, if there are no people, there can never be a top. Right? We always talk about when we look at things in social sciences, say we look at ancient societies and they would have a class system. And even now many societies have a class system. And we see at the bottom are the working class, and then you get to the educated class, and then you get to the high class or the royal people, right? How can the royal people be at the top of that social pyramid if there's no foundation? If there's nothing for them to stand on? See, that's the thing with these climate strikes. When the people, when the foundation of the world decide to rattle things up, it scares those at the top because they're like, hey, we might fall. We might fall because our foundation is going to let us go. We might slip through these cracks that are forming. So that's the whole reason why I've always believed that from the bottom, if you want to call it the bottom, we can make change through to the top. It takes an individual being kind to another individual to spread kindness, pass it on. And I think that's generally the best way to go about changing the world. Because the main thing is when we think of these big things, these big ideas, climate or world peace or those big things that we always talk about as issues in the world. The individual. You right now may say to yourself, how am I going to change things in the world? There's no way one person can do that. It's hard. It's impossible. But how is it impossible? If you can change the world, if you can make the world a much more peaceful place by saying hi to your neighbor, if you can make the world a much more peaceful place, if you can hold the door open for someone else, or just strike up a random conversation while you're on the bus, shake hands with a coworker that, say, you don't really have a very solid relationship with, or maybe they get on your nerves or something. If you can make peace yourself, if you yourself can recycle a little more, or use less gas, say ride a bike or walk to work or something like that. If you yourself can make those small actions and do something like that, and then if you can cause other people through admiration to do the same, it's just a domino effect at that point. And the dominoes eventually will all fall, and the world will look completely new. That's the power of these global ideas. Change will always come, whether you really like it or you don't. Change is coming. So it's every person's responsibility to be a part of that change, and have that change especially be for good. It's an interesting topic, and it's really cool to see something like this happen, where the main idea behind it was for students to walk out of class and protest and take charge of their own future, and take charge of the future of the planet that they're going to eventually be the holders of. And that's what I think change will eventually come, because there's so much awareness, especially amongst the youth now. Everybody knows, or the youth know, the changes that are occurring in the planet. Changes that maybe the older generations don't really understand yet. For whatever reason. I don't know. And that's not to say that every person that's above an X age doesn't know that climate change exists. No. It's just that the younger people now are so aware and so in tune with the world because they have the world at their fingertips. Instantly, a video can be shared and you can make a change in anything, because the video is living proof of, well, anything, right? You can share a video of the polar ice caps melting, and with a share you can beam it out to the rest of the world. It's an interesting tool kit to have these social medias. These social medias, seems weird to say it like that. These social media platforms, let's say. It's interesting to have those and to have that capability to have people at your fingertips. Because people are power. The more people you know, the more things you can get done. And that's why I keep pushing people. Because, bottom line, I believe in people. People to make a change. People to do good. And everything in between. All the good things, specifically. So I believe in you too. I believe that you can make a change that you want and a change that you need. Because you're capable of doing anything. And when that thing is good, other people will see it. Because remember, the world doesn't go around. I mean, we see now on the news, you turn on the channel and you're inundated with hate and pain and just disgust at what you see. So, and then you think that this is the world. The world is a horrible place, and it's filled with people that want to harm you and do bad things upon you and your family and everything. But if that was the world, then there couldn't be a world, right? We see these outcroppings, these weeds amongst this very beautiful garden that is the people of the world. And we only see those weeds, and we pull at those weeds, forgetting that all the while we are sitting amongst a beautiful flower bed. That's the issue. And if we always pay attention to the bad, we'll only see the bad. So start paying attention to the good. That's what I say. And start being the good. And whatever that good means to you, if it means going out and protesting for a better world, go for it. If maybe that's not your style, if it means just holding the door open for somebody or just saying hi and smiling, that's awesome too. Because at the individual level, we can change. We can make change. And we can breed a new, better, more awesome world. A world where everyone listens to the logs. No. Yeah, maybe. A world where we all care about each other. So thank you. Thank you for listening to this episode of Voice Logs. I hope you enjoyed it. And please go ahead, subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. Go and follow all our social media platforms. Send us a message. If you have a question, if you have a topic for a future episode, please shoot us there. Shoot us a message. And, and go to the log store. We have awesome styles at the log store. We do also have international shipping at the log store. I will definitely check the prices and everything on that to make sure that you are all getting the best deals, because that's what we're looking for. And all the products, I can confirm, are very, very comfortable, very awesome. So please check that out. And have an awesome rest of your day. I hope you keep on I hope that you keep on listening to the logs. See, I'm slowly getting better, and I keep saying that I'm getting better, and I keep making mistakes, but you know what? We're all human, and I hope you can appreciate that. So yeah, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Voice Logs. I appreciate that you are listening. I appreciate that you share the logs and you care about the logs, and I appreciate that you appreciate. All right, have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one.